everybody and welcome back to a new video.
We only need the two of us together. I need only you in this crazy world. 'Cause we got love, love. I need only you here with me.
So today again is one of my what have I watched in October, and it is going to be on Netflix and Disney Plus this month. So there is quite a few. I've got my list. There's everything that I've got this month, so I am going to just do it quick fire this time. So less explaining and more just what I thought, and that was it. Okay, so let's start with Netflix and let's start with TV shows because there is less of them. Okay, so number one is Emily in Paris, and I love Lily Collins. I will love anything she's in. One of my favourite films in the world is Love, Rosie. And Emily in Paris is essentially her being American who's gone to Paris to like help out their marketing department in her like job, but in the France division, and she goes to Paris, and it's such a good TV show. It's so like makes it seem like you can get a big following on the internet really quickly, like without trying too hard, and that is not the case obviously, but if you have it as like, you know, it's a make-believe world and all of that, it's so good. It's so romantic but so like heartfelt at the same time. Just watch it if you like Lily Collins and you like rom-coms. Okay, so number two is The Bureau of Magical Things. So this was more of a light-hearted, could be a children's thing, could be a teens thing, but it was okay for me to watch. And essentially it's about a human girl who ends up getting magical powers from a fairy and an elf and becoming like they call her a triling, so she's part elf, part fairy and part human. So, and then it's about her like life being in the human world and in the fairy world, and then like all of the things that happen in both. And it's really good. There is like 30, I think it's 30 or is there 20 half-an-hour episodes, and it's really good just to have something like short and snappy to watch, but it was also quite good for like Halloween season because it was like magical and all of this. But yeah, definitely give it a watch. It's good to watch with kids as well as on your own, and there is like an underlying storyline that is really gripping, if that makes sense. Like I would definitely watch the season 2. Number three is something I have literally just finished watching, and it is called Home for Christmas. So I've watched this now, so I watched this in November, but it's at the very start of November, so I'm just adding it into this because I've literally just finished it this second. And it is a 6-episode limited series, which are half-an-hour long, so it's really quick, really short. You could get it done in 3 hours if you wanted to just like run them through. But essentially it's a dubbed French, I think, TV show. I'm not too sure. It might be Dutch, I'm not too sure. But it's a dubbed English TV show about a girl who tells her parents that she has a boyfriend, and they say we'll bring him to Christmas Eve dinner, and it's her trying to get a boyfriend throughout December. It's not like funny and light-hearted, it's more like real and her struggle, but it is still a nice like Christmassy watch, but it's also like hits you in the feels every now and again. So definitely more of a teen adult watch than a children's watch, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was alright for a short series. I'm left on a cliffhanger on the end and I kind of want to know the answer, but I don't know if I would watch a full another series. Probably just the first episode of the next one to find out the cliffhanger of it. Okay, and the last TV show, number 4, is on Disney Plus this time, and it is of course the only TV show that we've all been watching on Disney Plus at the moment, and it's Mandalorian. Me and Tom spent the last week in October watching the whole of season 1 again, and we absolutely love it. Like, we were gripped. We had to, even though we'd already seen it before, we had to watch every single episode, and we did like 3 in a day, and then 3 the next day, 2 the next day, and we did it all ready for last Friday was season 2 episode 1. Oh, and it did not disappoint. I am going to give no spoilers at all and say nothing apart from it was amazing. And the end, wait for the end. Oh, definitely give it a watch if you're a Star Wars fan and haven't watched Mandalorian at all yet. You have to. Definitely give it a watch. Okay, and this gives us a nice leaning point to go into our Disney Plus films that I have watched this month. All of these me and Tom have watched together and has been in a very Halloween mood and up until yesterday. And the first thing we watched was something new, and it was The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Not too sure how we feel on this one. It was odd. It was essentially Mr. Toad bit first, which is the story of Mr. Toad from Wind in the Willows, and kind of like a little bit crazy. And then the second part was of Ichabod, and it was from Sleepy Hollow, and that was also just like a very short bit of Sleepy Hollow, and it was also very strange. It was a bit odd. It's only an hour long, so you definitely, if you just fancied it, could give it a watch, but I don't know if I would recommend it to anybody. It's very old and very strange, but if you're feeling that way either now while it's not quite Christmas yet, or maybe this time next year in Halloween, maybe, but I wouldn't tell you have to watch it. Number 2 was another new thing for us, and I really enjoyed it because I am such a nostalgic. I will watch anything old that's even tiny little bit weird, and Tom wasn't too sure, but it was Halloween Town, and we really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Tom enjoyed it, but wasn't sure I would watch the second one, and he does not fancy the second one. But yeah, it was really good. Essentially about 3 kids who find out that their grandma is definitely a witch, which means that their mum is a witch, and their mum has been telling them like no Halloween. And then one of the kids turns 16 and she follows her grandma on a bus, and they end up in Halloween Town. Yeah, it's essentially really good. Just nostalgic 90s Halloween fun. And all of the costumes are on a very big budget. That's all I'm gonna say. Number 3 is Hocus Pocus. Who doesn't love Hocus Pocus? I've never met a person who doesn't love Hocus Pocus, or even just like it. Not even love it, but just likes it. Never met a person dislike it. Essentially about 3 witches who have come back to life in now times after being killed and like casting a curse for when someone does something, they're gonna come back. And they come back, and it's about them in this time, and yeah, it's just a bunch of fun, and yeah, so good. You have been living under a rock if you have not heard about Hocus Pocus. Number 4, and the last Halloween film on Disney Plus that we watched, is Haunted Mansion, and weirdly, we never went on Haunted Mansion the ride when we went to Walt Disney World. So every time we watch it, Tom's like, that's not what happened, and I'm like, in the ride, we have been on Phantom Manor. That is not the same ride. Phantom Manor is in Disneyland Paris. But Haunted Mansion, I really want to go on the ride now. We have watched the film the past 2 years for Halloween, and yeah, Eddie Murphy. It's all you need to say is Eddie Murphy and a bunch of ghosts and stuff. Yeah, but it's really good. Definitely give it a watch if you like Eddie Murphy. Like, you have to like Eddie Murphy because it's very much one of his films. And then the last thing that we have watched on Disney Plus was yesterday, and it is getting now into the festive season. So we watched a little short, and we watched Once Upon a Snowman, which is the new Frozen short about Olaf. And essentially, I'm not going to give any of it away because it's quite cute to like watch it and like see things happen. But it's essentially about Olaf straight after he is made, when Elsa makes him while she's singing Let It Go. And then it's about him like making his journey to when he meets Anna and Kristoff in the forest when it's snowing. So yeah, it is so cute. It's really, I think it's 12 minutes long, but it's so cute. If you have a Frozen fan in your family, definitely watch it. And on that note, if you also are a Frozen fan, on Instagram, Josh Gad has posted this, which is like a little like song that Olaf sings. And it's so cute, especially for now during lockdown, to send to anybody who you have as a friend that is in lockdown and you want them to know that you're thinking about them. The song is so cute, but the TV short is also amazing, and just if you like Frozen, you will love it. Okay, and now quick fire, my 9 films that I have watched on Netflix in October. Some of them are Halloweeny and some of them are just random films that I've watched, so let's start with the random let's start with the non-Halloweeny films. So the first one I watched was Juliet Naked. I really wanted to see this when it came out in cinemas, and for some reason I just didn't. I didn't get around to watching it, so I watched it when it came onto Netflix, and it was okay. I mean, it was okay. I wouldn't say you have to watch it, but it's also like, if you just want something to put on in the background, it's perfect. Essentially, it's about a woman whose husband is obsessed with some singer guy who has disappeared off the face of the earth, and he is obsessed with him, and then she comments on a forum page of this like singer guy, and then the singer emails her back, and essentially they end up, you know, like talking and stuff. Yeah, that's about it, and then it just goes from there. So it's okay, and yeah, that's all I can say really, just it's okay. Number 2 is a complete opposite. I really enjoyed this one, and I'm surprised I've never seen it before, but it was Begin Again, and it was Mark Ruffalo and James Corden and Keira Knightley. So yeah, it had a really good cast. Oh, and also it had Adam Levine in it, the singer from Maroon 5, and Celia Green was in it. So yeah, it was really good. It has a really good cast. It's about this woman who breaks up with Adam Levine, her husband, who is a singer, and like, or boyfriend or whatever, breaks up with him, and she is a singer herself, so she moves in with her friend because they've like gone to New York or something, and she lives with her friend for a while who busks on the side of the streets, and she meets Mark Ruffalo, and they end up producing an album together. It's so good. I really enjoy it. There's no sort of like, there's like friendships in there, but there's no like, oh, are they gonna get together, and oh, they've done all this. I really like films where people can just be friends and things amazing happen anyway, and yeah, it's just one of those films, and I really enjoyed it, and the music in it is so good. So number 3 was It Takes Two, and I'm unsure how I feel about this, but essentially it is like Parent Trap, but it's Mary-Kate and Ashley as the twins, so yeah, yeah, and weirdly they're not related, so that's the only thing. I really like this film, but the only bit that gets me is that they are twins, but they say that they're identical strangers, so they're not related at all. So in the way where in Parent Trap they're getting their parents back together, in this one they're getting the people who they know together. But yeah, it's really good in the same way that Parent Trap is really good. Like, if you like Parent Trap, you will love It Takes Two because it's the same film. But it's just not as fluid as Parent Trap. So number 4 is an all-time favourite of mine, and it is About Time. It's Rachel McAdams and Domhnall Gleeson and Bill Nighy, and they make a great little cast. Essentially it is about Bill Nighy and then his son, who he tells they can travel through time. So the men in their family can travel through time, and he comes of age, and then he uses it to meet a girl, and then he falls in love with Rachel McAdams, and it's about their family and their life and him being able to travel through time. There's so many fun good bits, and then there is so sad bits, and it's just, oh, it's just so nice. It's such a nice film, and it's so heartfelt and romantic, and just a lovely film, and it's just very Bill Nighy, like mellow and just nice. But yeah, it's just a story about their life essentially, but with the dad being able to travel through time. So yeah, if you just fancy a cozy night in, About Time is the film to watch. Okay, and then the last thing that's not Halloweeny was I watched Michael McIntyre's Showman. I love Michael McIntyre, so I watched his new thing that came on as a Netflix special. It went out on tour obviously, but then they filmed it for Netflix rather than for DVD or anything like that. And yeah, it was really good. It was shorter than his normal like sets, but it was still funny. Not as funny as some of his previous ones, but it's still just Michael McIntyre humour, which is my humour, just being silly essentially. So yeah, if you like Michael McIntyre, there is a new 1 hour Netflix special called Michael McIntyre's Showman. Okay, and now Halloween or just autumn in general. First one I watched was October Kiss, essentially about a woman who becomes a family's nanny, and then, you know, what happens in rom-coms when a woman who is single and pretty and a man who is single and pretty end up talking to each other and having to be in each other's lives. Who would have thought it? But it was really cute. She makes friends with his kids, and then they do all these Halloweeny things together, and they end up trick-or-treating together, decorating their house, and essentially just, if I lived in America, I would love Halloween. I honestly would love Halloween. It's so much bigger and so much better, and oh, the decorations are just amazing, and they go all out. But yeah, this film makes me want to live in America for Halloween. Number 2, Hubie Halloween. It's an Adam Sandler film, and it's Adam Sandler film. It is very Adam Sandler humour. It is very silly, and he is doing his usual like dorky self. But it's a Halloween film about just being nice to each other, which is refreshing to see, but it's also very strange for a Halloween film. But it was just good. It was good. You didn't really know what was going to happen until like 2/3 of the way in. You kind of got an idea, and then the twist was so good. Yeah, it was just a good Halloween film, but isn't like a horror in a sense, but made you think and made you wonder who it could be and what was going on where. But then it all turned out to be very silly. So yeah, just an Adam Sandler Halloween film. Number 3 was Autumn Dreams, which was okay. These are Hallmark films. If you know the company Hallmark that makes films, yeah, they are just like cheesy good but bad films. It's like all of them. But Autumn Dreams is essentially about a woman who lives and works on a farm, and she got married to someone else when she was really young, when they were like 18 or something, but then they went their separate ways, so got a divorce. But then it turns out they didn't. So before she gets married again, she has to go and like redo their divorce like now. So she has to travel to New York to see the guy that she was married to. And yeah, what could go wrong from there? Or not wrong, should I say, but what could happen or could not happen from there. Films are very predictable these days. But yeah, it was just sweet. It was just nice. You knew what was going to happen from the get-go. You knew what you were getting into when you turned it on after reading the little synopsis about it. But yeah, it was just cute, and it was, yeah, autumny because she works on a farm. Not really a Halloween film, but yeah, it was autumny. And then the last one is Harvest Moon. This one was more Halloweeny because it's about a pumpkin farm. So it's about a girl whose father goes broke, and she kind of got a little bit spoiled, so she no longer has any money, but the one thing that she does own is her dad bought a pumpkin farm and put it under her name. So she's now going to go and like brighten up this pumpkin farm so that she could sell it, but there's a strapping young man who works there. So yeah, it was just good, and I can't remember the woman's name. Let me think. Okay, the woman's name is Jessie Scratchum? No. Scrum? Jessie Scrum? Yeah, I don't know, it's spelled like this. But yeah, as you can see, she's only been in Harvest Moon and then Once Upon a Time. And I've just realised that she was Cinderella in Once Upon a Time. So that's probably where I recognise her from. But yeah, essentially it was just her, and she went and did up this farm, and this shopping young man works there. But she has to live there to like do it up. So they become friends and all of this. And then she makes her money back by somehow something with the farm, and I won't give it away in case you want to watch it because it's not essentially Halloween, but she works on a pumpkin farm. So yeah, that it made it autumny and Halloweeny, and like got me in the mood for Halloween anyway. Because Halloween for me is like nice and autumnal until actual Halloween, which then it's like trick or treat. So yeah, it was cute. This is the one out of all of those like Halloweeny films. I'd probably say watch Hubie Halloween if you want a like actual Halloween film, and then watch Harvest Moon if you want something a bit cuter, because that one probably had the most like actual storyline to it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this one. Please do give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know down in the comments whether you guys have watched any of these things that I have mentioned in this video, or any of the things that you think I would enjoy that are on the same lines. Pop them down in the comments, whether they are on Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, Now TV, you name it, I'll watch it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!